Part 155. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1541. Chapter 1541 Extra chapter of Xiaofeng and his wife, 69. Ask his dad what he does for a living. Another message came from the director team. Just as Qianyins was about to speak, Zihu quickly interrupted Qianyins before he could even open his mouth to say, "Okay, Xiaojin, have you forgotten what your father told you?" Xiaojin met 11 Jews' gaze in confusion. Did dad say anything to him? Why doesn't he remember? Zihu continued, don't your father often emphasize to you what should be said and what should not be said? Xiaojin was stunned. Of course Yu Lingfeng had never told him this, but Xiaojin was very smart and immediately understood the meaning of Zihu's words, so she walked down the steps of Zihu and faced Qianju. Yin said, "Dad, my daddy said, there are some things you can't tell others." Xiaojin pointed to the camera on the side, made a silent gesture, blinked at Qianyins, and then added in a low voice, "Godfather, if you want to know anything, just ask me directly." "Daddy." Qianyins nodded and smiled meaningfully. It seems that it is not just that he does not understand Yu Lingfeng, but that Yu Lingfeng is deliberately hiding himself. After all, such a monster, if it were not concealed, would definitely scare people. How could such a perfect person exist? Qianyin's eye often thinks about this problem. The directing team was obviously very disappointed. It was just a little bit short of figuring out what Yu Lingfeng's profession was. Is it really true that he is such a mysterious person that he can't even tell his occupation? Or is he a staff member of a state secret agency? Otherwise, why hide it so much? It's really puzzling. In the following time, they all talked about indifferent topics, and the faces of the director team became increasingly ugly. He did not ask Qianyins to chat with them about home affairs. Until, Xiaojin suddenly said, "Godfather, last time you said you wanted me to be a flower girl, when was it? I can't wait." Xiaojin looked up at Qianyins, her innocent big eyes staring straight at Qianyins. Qianyins' knife and fork hit the plate, making a sharp sound. 11 Ju also froze. Although children's words are unbridled, it is indeed a bit embarrassing for Xiaojin to suddenly talk about this topic at this time. However, Xiaojin is indeed ignorant. He did not read the news, and naturally Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng did not tell him. But Xiaojin always remembered that incident. He wanted to be Qianyins and Li Dongyu's little flower boy. Xiaojin saw that Qianyins and 11 Jews' faces were a little ugly, and she quickly realized that she seemed to have said the wrong thing. Xiaojin stuffed a big mouthful of steak into her mouth, making a loud chewing sound, and then looked around with her big eyes open. Just in time to catch the eye of the director team next door, the director team gave Xiaojin a thumbs up and praised him for asking a good question. Xiaojin frowned and stuck out her tongue. Originally, Qianyin's relationship was a big gimmick, but when accepting this show, her manager made it clear that she could not mention anything about relationships, otherwise the recording would be terminated. Although it was hard to say anything, they still obeyed one by one for the sake of Qianyin's traffic, but they never thought that the topic they had always wanted to provoke would be brought up by this baby. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1542. Chapter 1542 Extra chapter of Xiaofeng and his wife, 70. Xiaojin, don't always eat meat, eat some salad. 11 Ju broke the half-minute silence. Xiaojin let out an ouch and then asked Zihu secretly with her mouth, "Uncle Zihu, did I say the wrong thing again?" Zihu nodded solemnly, while Xiaojin's face drooped and she began to eat the salad bitterly. "Why does he keep saying the wrong things today? It seems that you have made your godfather unhappy?" Qianyins didn't remain silent for long, and quickly recovered his emotions, still looking at Xiaojin with a smile. "Xiaojin, you will have the opportunity to be a flower girl, just wait, okay. 11 Ju paused and raised his head, but he happened to meet Jianyin's gaze, and both of them chose to avoid it. The scene was a little awkward for a while, and Xiaojin smiled heartlessly and replied, okay, my godfather will definitely be happy. Well, it will definitely happen. Qinyanzai laughed and nodded. Jianyins glanced at 11 Ju, who was hanging his head, and asked, what about you, how have you been in the past few years? Do you have anyone you like? When Jianyins was preparing to ask this question, he had gone through countless rehearsals in his mind, but when he actually asked it, he still couldn't help but his heart beat faster. He was not confident about the answer he was about to hear. Zihu raised his head and showed a wry smile, I'm used to living alone, and it feels good. Jianyin's smile froze. She originally thought that he broke up with her for some big deal, but he didn't live as well as he expected. He was still alone and returned to China, so in the beginning, what is the last resort reason to break up with him? Or is it just because I don't love you anymore? Jianyin's thoughts began to wander again. From the director's side, a female director looked at the camera and suddenly muttered, what's going on? The more I watch, the more I think these two are interesting. A staff member next to him smiled and said, you must have read too many Denmi novels, and you have a bad eye for people. Go. 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 The female director waved her hand at him and said angrily, who are you kidding? Do you understand women's intuition? Then I really didn't see it, but that little brother is quite good-looking sure enough, good-looking people only play with good-looking people. The staff sighed. The female director held her chin and said nothing. The more she watched, the more she felt something was wrong, so she strengthened her own ideas. Looks can't deceive people. The way Jianyins looked at that person was obviously different. The same was true for the little brother. He didn't dare to look up at Jianyins. It's so awkward when two people are chatting. After the recording of the program ended, Zihu took Xiaojin home. Xiaojin kissed Jianyins on the cheek, thank you for the hospitality, godfather, bye. Bye-bye Xiaojin. Jianyins waved to Xiaojin, and then looked at Zihu and Xiaojin immediately. Jianyins also packed his things and was about to leave. But just when Jianyins was about to leave, the waiter from the Western restaurant suddenly walked up to Jianyins and handed Jianyins a ring, this is yours, did you drop it? You picked it up right where you were sitting. Jianyins looked back at the ring, then smiled and shook his head, it's not mine. Huh, really, that's weird, because the ring has your initials written on it. Jianyins was stunned. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1543. Chapter 1543 Extra Chapter of Xiaofeng and His Wife, 71. Look, this is it. The waiter pointed at Jianyins. Jianyins looked at it carefully and saw that his initials were indeed there. QYZ. Jianyins took the ring and looked at it for a while, then suddenly remembered something. Azaa, what color do you like, gold or silver? Silver, because I am Jian, Yin, Zi. Haha, got it? Huh, why are you asking me this suddenly? Nothing, this is a surprise. Cut. The surprise that Jianyins waited for later was that 11 Ju broke up with him. Jianyins looked at the ring and couldn't calm down for a long time. 1 week later, the Jianyins episode of Let's Eat Together was aired. Because he is the host of Jianyins, and the guest is Xiaojin, who has been praised by netizens before, saying that they want to go to Xia Ying's house to steal the child together, the click rate has been rising as soon as it was released. In just 3 hours, Qianyin's episode had already set a new record for click-through rates for this program. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng were dragged by Xiaojin to watch the show. Xia Ying was puzzled. What program did you go to record? Xiaojin told Xia Ying what happened that day, and Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng looked at each other. In other words, 11 Ju was also there, and 11 Ju and Qianyins had dinner together face to face. Even if Xiaojin was there, the scene would be so embarrassing. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng said nothing and watched the program with Xiaojin. When he saw the part where Xiaojin boasted about Yu Lingfeng raised the corner of his mouth and reached out to touch Xiaojin's head. He is indeed his good son. I almost want to praise him to the heavens, although I really deserve such praise. Xia Ying pouted and said jealously, Xiaojin is so partial. Why don't you know how to praise your mother in front of the whole country? Xiaojin chuckled, Mama, you are the national goddess, you don't need Xiaojin to praise you. Yu Lingfeng frowned. Why did he suddenly feel strange? Xia Ying smiled. Who told you this? That was several years ago. It was my godfather who said that Mama was the national goddess voted by the Chinese people and was very popular. Xia Ying smiled. Your godfather is so boring. At this time, the program put on the part where Xiaojin asked Qianyins when he would become his flower girl. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng darkened their faces, and they both had the urge to hit Xiaojin. But when I think about it, the children don't know what's going on. They probably thought that the two of them were in love, and that I could really become a little flower girl soon. Xiaojin, don't ask this question again in the future. Why? Xiaojin was puzzled. Uncle Zihu told Xiaojin the same thing, but why can't he ask? Because your godfather broke up, he will be very sad if you ask this question. Break up, Xiaojin thought for a while. Did Uncle Li leave his godfather? Then will he come back? Xiaojin asked again. No, that's why your godfather is unhappy. Xia Ying explained to Xiaojin. Xiaojin still doesn't understand, but Daddy and Mommy broke up before, and Daddy came back. Yu Lingfeng's face darkened. Your parents haven't broken up, so don't talk nonsense. We didn't break up, so why did Daddy leave Mom and me before? Yu Lingfeng. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1544. Chapter 1544 Extra Chapter of Xiafeng and His Wife, 72. Ahem. Yu Lingfeng looked embarrassed and coughed a few times. Xia Ying chuckled. She really wanted to know how Yu Lingfeng would respond to Xiaojin's question. Although Xiaojin had never asked it before, it did not mean that Xiaojin didn't think about it. Yu Lingfeng has not discussed this issue with Xiaojin, but he was absent from the first 6 years of Xiaojin's life. This is a fact that cannot be erased. What's more, Xiaojin remembers things early and realized very early that other people's children have fathers. Only he didn't. Dad just left you for a while, but he made an agreement with your mother that he would come back. This is not called a breakup. The real breakup is like your godfather and Uncle Li, they will never be together again after separation. Xiaojin nodded as if understanding, and then asked, but why did they break up? Isn't it nice to be together? Qianyins was so sad after the breakup, so why did he break up? From Xiaojin's perspective as a child, it is indeed difficult to understand. Because I found it was not suitable to spend the rest of my life together, I chose to separate for the sake of everyone. After all, I am a person who wants to spend the next few decades with me, so I naturally have to be cautious. Yu Lingfeng explained to Xiaojin patiently. Xiaojin tilted her head and thought again, then why do some people break up after they are already married? Is it also because they feel it is not suitable? If it is not suitable, why did they get married in the first place? Xiaojin asked Yu Lingfeng this question like a tongue twister. Yu Lingfeng was a little helpless, thinking why Xiaojin had so many problems in his head. But complaints are complaints, and Yu Lingfeng still answered Xiaojin's confusion, because some people will change, people are very complicated animals, and life is not as simple as you think. The reason for being together may be very simple, but the reasons for the separation are multiple. When Xiaojin grows up, he will gradually understand. Xiaojin frowned and thought seriously for a while, then asked, "What about you two, Mom and Dad? Have you two changed? Will you get divorced like Xiao Kong's parents in the future?" Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng looked at each other and laughed. Faced with Xiaojin's question, they were really funny and angry. Although he didn't know where Xiaojin came from so many concerns, Yu Lingfeng still answered Xiaojin sincerely, "Of course not. Mom and Dad are together after a long time. They will never be separated, and they will never leave Xiaojin Jin's." Xiao Jin's big eyes flashed, and then she turned to verify Xia Ying's statement, "What about Mom, what do you think? Will you always love Daddy and never leave Daddy?" "Of course, little guy, you are really worried." Xia Ying smiled, stretched out her hand and pinched Xiaojin's face, and Xiaojin laughed happily. Then he stretched out his arms and touched the necks of the posters Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng. "Xiaojin wants to be with Mom and Dad forever." Yu Lingfeng and Xia Ying looked at each other and smiled, with only each other in their eyes. At this time, 11 Ju was also in the comic shop, watching the program. 11 Ju stared at himself on the screen, repeatedly checking whether he had any flaws, then looked at Jian Yin's, and finally sighed, "Turn off the video, you haven't finished watching yet." Zihu was still thinking about one thing. After recording the program that day, he returned home and found that the ring he had been carrying was missing. Later, Zihu searched everywhere he went during the day, but could not find it until he went there. That restaurant. The waiter told Zihu that the ring had been taken away by Jian Yin's. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1545. Chapter 1545 Extra Chapter of Xiafeng and His Wife, 73. Since that day, 11 Ju has been haunted. He was thinking, what would Jian Yin's reaction be when he saw that ring? Will you question yourself and ask yourself what's going on? Or Jian Yin's will laugh at him and look down on him? Zihu thought about countless possibilities, and spent the next week in fear, but it exceeded Zihu's expectations, and Jian Yin's did not contact him. So, what did he think? 11 Ju felt that he was simply crazy. Why should he care about what Jian Yin's thought? Maybe he didn't understand the meaning of the ring at all. But Zihu still wanted that ring back, the only ring he could use to commemorate that relationship. Zihu felt that he was being hypocritical and that he was very worthless, but he had no way to control his thoughts. He couldn't control himself from thinking about the ring or Jian Yin's reaction when he saw the ring. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng's family. After Xia Ying finished watching that program, she went to browse Weibo. Unexpectedly, she was attracted by the hot search list "Let's Eat Together," Zihu Qinyans. This item is now ranked 5th on the hot search list. When I opened it, I found that many netizens were talking about Jian Yin's episode. Oh my god, am I the only one who thinks we should have dinner together? Do the little brother and Jian Yin's in the room look particularly good as husband and wife? Uncle Zihu and Godfather, let's get together. The two of them look great together. Jian Yin's just broke up. Although it's not a good thing to say this, 11 Ju and Jian Yin's have a really strong sense of partnership. And am I the only one who thinks their eyes look at each other so sparkly? Uncle Zihu is so handsome. Godfather, I support you in taking action. Because Xiaojin called Jian Yin's godfather in that program, and because Xiaojin is good looking and cute, many people said they wanted to wait until Xiaojin grows up to be their husband, so many netizens followed Xiaojin and called him Jian Yin's. After calling him godfather, he also called Zihu Uncle Zihu. So, Qianyin's got a hot search for Qianyin's national godfather. Under the hot search let's eat together, Zhuqianyin's, the first one is Qianyin's Weibo with big pink hair. Mom. He said that I used to be Qianyin's girlfriend fan. After learning that Qianyin's is gay, I became his sister fan. By the way, as a good sister, please forget about Li Dongyu and get out of the shadow of your last relationship. There are still so many good men in this world, right? Please marry 11 Ju where you are. The eyes between the two of them are very interesting. And it really matches the look, isn't it? This Weibo currently has more than 80,000 likes, the number of comments is almost 15,000, and the number of retweets is also rising. YY and YY were just friends among netizens at first. Everyone just took a look and laughed and passed it by. Who knew that at night, an article titled Qianyin's likes became a hot search. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Qianyin's actually liked the big pink-haired Weibo post. All netizens immediately became excited. Oh my god, blogger, my godfather praises you. If you are rich and noble, don't forget each other. Blogger, wake up, Qianyin's has praised you, does that mean he has accepted your proposal? Are you going to pursue little brother 11 Ju? Oh my god, is the godfather a slippery man or is he really interested in Uncle 11 Ju? Is it okay for a tsundere superstar to attack a gentle beauty in real life? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1546. Chapter 1546 Extra Chapter of Xiafeng and His Wife, 74. When Xia Ying saw this Weibo, she quickly went to pull Yu Lingfeng, who was still playing flying chess with Xiajin. Yu Lingfeng was confused and was dragged up by Xia Ying and asked, "What happened?" Look. Xia Ying was so excited that she couldn't speak, so she had to hold up her phone and let Yu Lingfeng read the content on Weibo. The more Yu Lingfeng read, the deeper his frown deepened. Are these two people filming an idol drama? This is Yu Lingfeng's first thought after reading it. Xia Ying excitedly pulled Yu Lingfeng's arm and asked, "Do you think there is something going on between them? Is there a possibility of getting back together?" Compared to Xia Ying's excitement, Yu Lingfeng looked very calm. After giving Xia Ying a faint glance, Yu Lingfeng opened her thin lips and said, "Of course, Qianyin's and Li Dongyu broke up, which means that we will definitely be together, it's just a matter of time." This time it was Xia Ying's turn to be puzzled. "Why are you so sure? You said I was being whimsical before, saying they couldn't go back." "It was before, but now things have taken a turn for the better, so it's different. Maybe fate is in the dark, so you can make your own arrangements." Yu Lingfeng sighed, but Xia Ying always felt that there was something in Yu Lingfeng's words, so she asked, "Yu Lingfeng, is there something you didn't tell me?" Yu Lingfeng raised her lips and smiled, then looked at Xia Ying with admiration. "You can really tell it at a glance. Stop talking nonsense, answer me quickly." Xia Ying held Yu Lingfeng's hand and was already looking forward to what Yu Lingfeng would say next. "Qianyin's came to see me a few days ago." "Huh, why haven't you told me?" Xia Ying interrupted Yu Lingfeng's words. "Isn't that what you are talking about?" Yu Lingfeng sneered. In fact, he promised Qianyin's to keep it a secret for him for the time being. But looking at the current situation, Qianyin's has already begun to take measures, so Yu Lingfeng thought, then there's probably no need to keep it secret, at least, you can tell Xia Ying. Snort. Xia Ying still expressed her dissatisfaction. "Qianyin's only asked me one thing. Did 11 Ju always like him and have he never forgotten him? I said yes, and he smiled and said nothing." "Nothing to say?" Xia Ying didn't believe it. Don't be too excited. I mean, I didn't ask any more. He asked me not to tell others about his meeting with me today. He also said that he wanted to recover 11 Ju. Ah, retrieve 11 Ju. Xia Ying finally waited until she heard what she wanted to hear, and shouted out excitedly. Yu Lingfeng patted Xia Ying on the head and said helplessly, calm down. How can you be so calm? Yu Lingfeng, are you a human being? If 11 Ju hadn't gone back with you, he wouldn't have broken up with Jian Yin's. Now you have everything, but 11 Ju is still alone. Don't you pity him? Yu Lingfeng paused, and then said, it's not entirely for this reason. 11 Ju has never been able to overcome the obstacle that he is a robot. And at that time, 11 Ju had no way of being with Jian Yin's. Haven't you noticed? Zihu's appearance has not changed at all over the years. Xia Ying was stunned and speechless. By the way, she forgot, 11 Ju is a robot and will neither age nor die, but Jian Yin's is just an ordinary human being, and it is impossible for the two of them to grow old together. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1547. Chapter 1547 Extra chapter of Xiafeng and his wife, 75. Okay, don't be sad. Look at how confident your husband is now. There must be a solution. Xia Ying's eyes lit up again, she grabbed Yu Lingfeng's arm and asked, really? Is there any way you can make 11 Ju go through life, old age, illness, and death? Otherwise, you think I went back to my home planet just to keep my battery alive? Yu Lingfeng smiled lightly, of course I brought good things to 11 Ju. When I woke up 11 Ju, I had already given them to him. With the new system, he can now get sick, age, and die like normal people. Xia Ying opened her eyes wide and expressed disbelief. Although it sounded exciting, it just made people doubt the authenticity. Does such a thing really exist? But calm down and think about it, that's Yu Lingfeng. In Yu Lingfeng's world, nothing is impossible. That's great, Yu Lingfeng, you are so great. Yu Lingfeng looked at Xia Ying's excited state, laughed dumbly, and then pointed at his cheek, then do you want to give me a reward? Xia Ying stood up on tiptoes and smacked Yu Lingfeng's face. Yu Lingfeng smiled with satisfaction. After feeling happy, Xia Ying thought of another question and asked Yu Lingfeng, does 11 Ju know about this now? Is he already exactly the same as a normal person? Yu Lingfeng nodded, I know, I told him on the first day. He was originally very happy, but at that time, Kenyans already had Li Dongyu. It doesn't matter, they still have a chance. Xia Ying clenched her fists and said firmly. Yu Lingfeng nodded. At this time, after Jian Yin's likes became a hot search on Weibo, the agents and assistants were already as anxious as ants on a hot pot, scurrying around Jian Yin's, just shy of saying little ancestor. What kind of likes are you talking about? Just let the netizens make trouble for you and let them go. Doesn't your likes mean that you have acquiesced? Jian Yin sat on the sofa slowly, while the agent and assistant beside him were already jumping anxiously. Nowadays, the internet is full of discussions about Jian Yin's and 11 Ju's possible sexual relationship, and whether there is really room for development. After all, two good-looking people look so charming when standing together, which naturally makes fujashis think about it. Jian Yin's took a sip of water and responded expressionlessly. The expressions of the agent and assistant suddenly changed. What? My little ancestor? What on earth are you planning? They are right, what happened to me giving a like? As soon as Jian Yin said these words, the assistant's eyes almost popped out of the frame. The manager also looked at the smiling Jian Yin's with a thunderous expression. Why does he smile so weirdly? Smiling so much that it creeps them out? No, what do you mean? Don't tell me, you really have a crush on that little brother. He is my ex-boyfriend. Qianyins narrated calmly, adding at the end, "First love boyfriend. So your old feelings rekindled just after meeting each other." The agent was shocked by Qianyin's answer. "It's not about rekindling old feelings, I've always liked him, so next, I plan to get him back." When Qianyin said this, his right hand kept stroking the ring on the ring finger of his left hand. No one knows when Qianyin's put on that ring, it seems to have been there a week ago. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1548. Chapter 1548 Extra chapter of Xiaofeng and his wife, 76. The agent's face turned green and red, and finally he held it in for a long time and asked, "Are you serious?" To be honest, for all the years he has led Qianyins, he has never seen Qianyins so serious. He knows Qianyins, and naturally he also knows that once he decides on something, it will be difficult for others to change it. "Certainly." Qianyins responded without hesitation, looked at the fair-faced agent, and laughed. "What's wrong? Do you need to be so surprised? Have you thought about it clearly? You have to know that you have made such a big fuss about this matter. Recently, many media reporters must have secretly photographed you and interviewed you. If you are not careful, you may be made a fuss about and guide public opinion. No one can guarantee what kind of impact time will have on you. Originally, for someone like Qianyins, who has a large number of fans of his face and girlfriends, falling in love is a very unpopular thing. The last time Qianyins and Li Dongyu made their relationship public, the number of Weibo fans dropped by hundreds of thousands. But now, Li Dongyu's incident has just passed, and Qianyins has another relationship, which will not be deceived by those who are interested. He speculated on his own and slandered Qianyin's personality and character with added fuel and jealousy. Qianyin's has been popular for too long, and it has harmed the interests of many people. He is closely watched by other companies for every slightest sign of trouble. Last time about Li Dongyu's incident, many people from the self-media Weibo V took money to blackmail Qianyin's. Fortunately, Qianyin's quickly cheered up and released a super high-level album, which slapped many people in the face, and also many public opinion storms slowly subsided, but this time, the agent was a little worried. "I have thought clearly that at worst, I won't be an idol anymore. People who really understand music and people who like my music won't care about me." Qianyin's fans are divided into two types. One is those who love Qianyin's music and like him as a singer, the other are those who like Qianyin's and like him as a star. Qianyin's, I feel that if he had to choose, he would rather not have this group of fans, but also want to find the love he lost. The agent sighed, shook his head helplessly, and lamented to the assistants and staff on the side, "We have already talked about it at this level, what else can we say? Okay, you go ahead and do it. You have to live your life for yourself. However, you are a public figure now, so you still have to consider some things clearly. Although you have prepared for the worst, you can minimize the damage. You don't need me to explain, do you? I know, I will take care of it myself." Qianyin's was in a good mood after being recognized. He always had an indelible smile on his face, which made people reject him. Sure enough, good-looking people are God's darlings. They clearly know that he is putting himself in danger and know what he should do as an agent. But when this guy smiles at him, even if he is a man, he is completely can't refuse his request. Really, let's just think of it as a gamble. I hope Qianyin's can win this bet. Qianyin's left the company and kept scrolling on Weibo on the way back. The matter of him praising CP fans on Weibo has become more and more serious. While many fans were speculating whether Qianyin's was a sleight of hand or had ulterior motives, they actually began to compile a little CP drama and illustrations about the two. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1549. Chapter 1549 Extra Chapter of Xiafeng and His Wife, 78. Qianyins read it slowly and patiently. Although he resisted the urge to like it, the uncle's smile on his face still made his agent and assistant feel uncomfortable. You said that this is not the first time Qianyins has fallen in love. When he and Li Dongyu were together, there was no such sweet time. Is it okay to laugh secretly while holding a mobile phone alone? This hasn't been caught yet. If we catch him, wouldn't we be tired of being together every day? The manager is already reflecting on whether the decision he just made is irrational. If Jun Chennai knew that he had adopted a free-spirited attitude towards Qianyins and this money tree collapsed in the future, wouldn't Jun Chennai kill him? The agent thought of this and swallowed silently. Brother Bei, I'll go back and start a live broadcast tonight. The man called Brother Bei is Qianyin's manager. Brother Bei was originally prepared to agree with a smile, but when he thought about it, there seemed to be something wrong with it, right? Qianyins will definitely say the wrong thing during the live broadcast. What if you get too excited for a moment, and you might not be able to stop the car, and you just keep talking nonsense? No, you need to calm down for a few days before talking. Beige sternly refused. Qianyins frowned, that's not what you said just now. Didn't you agree that I won't care about this matter? Are you really planning to say this live? Brother Bei was so shocked, and what did he mean by that aggrieved look? Qianyins, you are such an old man and have been in the entertainment industry for so many years. Why are you still so naive and impulsive? Although Brother Bei really wanted to fight Qianyins, the expression and face of that boy made people completely unbearable. It was really so annoying. Yes, instead of letting those self-media and unscrupulous media lead me and make money by riding on my popularity, I should be more upright and live broadcast to chase 11 Jew. Brother Bei almost choked to death on his own saliva. Are all young people today so bold? Chasing your ex-boyfriend on live broadcast? Only Qianyins can think of such a routine. He is really a wonderful flower in full bloom. Are you really serious? Brother Bei has begun to doubt the world. Yes, don't you think what I said makes sense? Qianyins continued, I have always kept my love life secret from the outside world. Li Dongyu's name was only announced after the breakup. He had always been my underground boyfriend. So I gave the media an opportunity. But this time I thought about it. I sincerely wanted to get 11 Jew back, so I simply found another way to declare my love for him to the world. Like, I don't believe he can be so hard-hearted. Qianyins spoke plausibly and looked like he was bound to win. Brother Bei wiped his sweat, he was really frightened by Qianyins. Okay, then just do it. Brother Bei has also let himself go. I hope this guy can get what he wants. Since he has been a star for so long, he has only been willful once, so let him go. Thank you, Brother Bei. Qianyins smiled sweetly, and then posted on Weibo, Qianyins, live broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. It didn't take long for fans to go crazy. Oh my god. Godfather, are you going to respond personally? Tell me, I'm not the only one who thinks something big is going to happen. Oh my god, although this is not the first time Qianyins has broadcast live, why am I so excited this time? Shock. What on earth does Qianyins want to do? End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1550. Chapter 1550 Extra Chapter of Xiafeng and His Wife, 78. Yu Lingfeng, come out quickly, I have something to tell you. After Xia Ying saw the Weibo post posted by Qianyins, she began to look for Yu Lingfeng everywhere, preparing to tell Yu Lingfeng the news. Yu Lingfeng was taking a shower in the bathroom at this time, so Xia Ying lay down outside the bathroom door, banging the door and yelling. Yu Lingfeng, who was taking a shower, was startled, and then sighed helplessly. He didn't know what was going on with his stupid wife. She was so enthusiastic about eating other people's candy. She was like a fan of Jianyin's and 11 Ju. If something happened, I would run over and share it with him. I know, wait a minute. Yu Lingfeng replied weakly. Hurry up, big news. At this time, Xiao Jin passed by licking a lollipop. Seeing Xia Ying's appearance, she raised her head and asked, Mom, are you pregnant? Xia Ying's smile froze, and she looked down at Xiaojin. Why do you talk so much about eating your candy? Xiaojin hummed without answering, then licked the lollipop and went to find 11 Ju to read comics. Yu Lingfeng in the bathroom heard the conversation between Xia Ying and Xiaojin, curled her lips and smiled, then put on a bath towel and came out. As soon as the bathroom door opened, a hazy mist swept over. Xia Ying saw the tall man walking out of the white smoke with his upper body naked and only wrapped in a bath towel, revealing his abdominal muscles and strong muscles. He had no water to dry himself. The beads were still flowing down Yu Lingfeng's honey-colored chest, then disappeared into the mermaid line. Yu Lingfeng's hair was also wet, and her long and thick eyelashes were stained with wet dew. In the blink of an eye, she revealed a pair of deep, dark eyes, full of charm. Xia Ying swallowed, and then slowly turned her gaze to Yu Lingfeng's face, which seemed to be a smile but not a smile after she realized that she was peeking at him. What's wrong? It looks like the sky is falling. Jianyin's posted a confession on Weibo. Yu Lingfeng wiped her hair with a towel with one hand, and pinched Xia Ying's dull cheek with the other hand. It's soft and feels exceptionally good. Xia Ying knocked off Yu Lingfeng's hand, and then remembered the business. She was not here to be infatuated with Yu Lingfeng's beautiful body. Jianyin's is going to live broadcast. Right now. Yu Lingfeng was disappointed. What's so exciting about a live broadcast? It's not a live broadcast confession. That's right. Xia Ying retorted, you still don't understand that kid Jianyin's. How can he be a person who can hide himself? He is live broadcasting now. If he is not confessing to 11 Ju, what else can he be? Yu Lingfeng thought for a while. It seems so. Sounds like something a fool would do. Does 11 Ju know? 11 Ju is reading comics, so he probably doesn't know yet. Yu Lingfeng asked again, when will the live broadcast be broadcast? At 10 o'clock, hurry up and get ready and watch the live broadcast with me. Yu Lingfeng sighed, feeling very tired. He suddenly understood why Xia Ying was so interested in 11 Ju and Jianyin's. When she was a girl, didn't she like to read those weird and beautiful comics? Now that he caught a pair of real-life CPS with super good looks, how happy would they be in outer space? Yu Lingfeng said, what can I do about my daughter-in-law? Why don't you follow her and enjoy those inexplicable candies? After 10 o'clock, Jianyin started the live broadcast on time. As soon as Jianyin's live broadcast started, the number of online viewers skyrocketed, and the barrage was dazzling. One after another, like running water. End of this chapter.